Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Haley and today's video is going to be so much fun. I have been buying books non-stop lately and my TBR just keeps stacking up. So I decided to wrap up a few of my books and do like a blind reading vlog. I've seen a few other booktubers do this in the past where they grab their TBR and wrap them up and basically just choose them blindly. So I thought this would be kind of a fun series. I ended up wrapping 18 books, whatever fit on the bottom of my shelf, and over the next few weeks I am going to kind of randomly choose one of these to read or a few to read in each video, and I can't wait. I am obsessed with buying new books, but as soon as I get them home I cannot decide which one to start with. I get so overwhelmed, so this will make that hard decision for me, and it was super easy to do. I ended up just getting a roll of brown like craft paper, and then I just wrapped each of them up. I didn't really have any particular books that I threw in here. I just grabbed a few from my bookshelf that I have yet to read, and then I numbered them, and what we're going to do today is pick a number out of this little jar. So in my little mushroom jar I cut up a few little pieces of paper, numbered them 1 through 18, and we're going to see what book I get to start off today's vlog with. I'm kind of nervous because I am more of a mood reader, but this will help me get through some of my reads. So let's see. Number 12. Here is number 12. It feels like a paperback, but it's definitely like a larger one. It does seem kind of thin though, so it might be a shorter read. I really don't know what this is. Oh my gosh. So the first book I am starting off with is Under the Influence by Noelle Crooks, and this is actually a advanced reader copy. So this book comes out 8/8/23. So I have an early copy of this one. It is definitely a shorter one. Oh no, it's not. This is 336 pages, and the back describes this book as The Devil Wears Prada meets The Assistants. And this is actually Noelle Crooks' debut novel, following a young woman who takes a job working for an influencer and quickly discovers there's a dark side to being a hashtag girl boss. I do think that this one is going to be pretty fun. I really enjoyed The Devil Wears Prada, and having like a little bit more of like a modern spin on that with like the influencing world, I think that that will be really fun. I also just really like this cover. The colors are so pretty. So I am going to start this one today and keep you guys updated on how I feel about it. I'm actually very excited that this is the first one. Okay, I have an update for you guys. I'm on page 57, chapter 7, and I really like the writing of this book so far. It's very funny, and like the main character is just so ridiculous. You're like, how could this possibly, like, this is so beyond belief. But I have truly met influencers that act like this, like behind the scenes, and are totally insane. And also this main character kind of reminds me of Rachel Hollis, who's like a self-help, self-care sort of guru, and then she had like a big scandal or whatever. I wonder if it's kind of like her as inspiration. I don't know. Anyways, if you hear panting, it's not him. It could be her. We just played. The dogs are heavy breathers, but I wanted to do a little check-in before the sun goes down. But yeah, I feel like this is going to be a really good one. It's so crazy so far. Oh my gosh, you guys, I am so dumb. First of all, absolutely devoured this book, finished it up last night, and I really enjoyed it. It's a very easy, quick read, and I would say that this definitely falls into like the YA category. Like there's not really adult themes throughout this book. But I left you off saying that this totally reminded me of Rachel Hollis, like to a T. And I should have literally, I don't know. This isn't really a spoiler, just like the very last sentence of this book talks about the main character writing a novel about her experience and calling it Under the Influence. And I was like, wait, what's going on here? So I read the author's note on the back of the book, which I honestly very rarely do. It says that she was the brand director at the Hollis Company. Noelle Crooks was literally working for Rachel Hollis, and this book is loosely inspired by her experience. It is insane. So I never followed Rachel Hollis. She's very much like your typical yes girl boss, like, and that is so funny to read throughout this book. But oh my god, my mom loved Rachel Hollis, and so when the scandal came out with like the divorce, and if you have like no idea what I'm talking about, I swear you could go down a rabbit hole of this Rachel Hollis lady, because that's what I did all last night. Just like, oh my god, definitely a really fun read. I am bringing this over to my mom today because she was a big Rachel Hollis fan, and I think that she will get a kick out of this book. Like, it's great. So if you are familiar with Rachel Hollis or you were a former fan, I think that you would love this book. But also, if you have no idea what I'm talking about with like this influencer broad, this is still a really fun read, and like knowing that there's like some truth behind it. Like when I was down that rabbit hole, I was shocked by the things that were true in this book. I was like, that's unreal. How? So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I am ready to move on to our next book. So let's see what our next pick will be. Oh my gosh, it is so dark and rainy today, but we got the mushroom. Let's see what our next book is. Eek. Okay, 18. Let's see. Okay, book 18. It's a hardcover. It looks a little short, maybe. Short and fat. Oh my goodness. Big Swiss. Okay, this book is described as like funny, sad, but the main character is a sex therapist transcriptionist, and she has a wild affair with one of the patients. So this sounds fun. I don't know. Big Swiss is both a love story and a deft examination of infidelity, mental health, sexual stereotypes, and more. I am losing my mind over this photo though. So here's our next read. I am going to dive into this a little bit later in the afternoon. I gotta do some spring cleaning today, and then we'll get into it. Okay, I'm currently on chapter 3 of Big Swiss. I'm only 45 pages in, so it's still very early on, but this book is a fever dream. Every line is like the most insane thing I've ever read. So far, the characters are extremely funny, but also just like the wildest people ever. Just, I cannot even describe what the hell is going on in this book so far, and I haven't even met Big Swiss, so I feel like I'm in for a treat here. Okay, so I finished Big Swiss, and going into this book, I didn't even know what to expect, but this was not it. There was so much of this book that was just cracking me up. There's just like every line is so funny to me. There's also like a lot of heavy, touchy subjects talked about in here, but it's cushioned by all the humor. So extremely hilarious, equally triggering. At first I felt like pretty indifferent about this book. I was like, I don't really know. It's very quirky. It's very like, just bizarre is like the best word, but I liked it overall. It was something different. The characters are all so wild and weird, and I love that. So I don't know, it was a good one. It was one that I would have pushed off reading for a while had I not chosen it. I think I'll do one more blind read for this video, and then we'll pick it up in another episode later. This one looks like quite small, like a quick read, so we'll see. And this one is a paperback. Oh my gosh. Burying the Ketchups by Jennifer Close. I actually just got this one too. I actually bought this book at the same time that I bought Big Swiss. Joking. So kind of funny that they're back to back. Caught in the swirl of 3 generations of grudges, love affairs, and fraught personal decisions, all based out of the Sullivan's family Chicago box. This is supposed to be another one that is very funny, so I'm glad that we have that going, because I am kind of in like a funny book sort of mood, so we'll see. It does sound like there might be some like heavier topics in here as well, but probably not as heavy as Big Swiss. I'm actually a little bit over 100 pages into this one right now. I am on page 105, and every chapter is a different point of view of one of these 3 siblings. So we have Gretchen, who is in a really successful cover band in New York. Teddy, he is a gay man that is coming into the family restaurant business. And we have Jane, who is kind of in a weird place in her marriage. She has kids, and she's probably my favorite one to read. She's really funny, but I enjoy every point of view, which I feel like doesn't happen very often. Like there's always one that you're kind of like, oh, okay, you're a little bit boring. But these siblings are very fun. They're all going through very difficult but very different experiences, and they all kind of come together at this family owned business of theirs. It's a bar called Sullivan's in Chicago. The thing about this book that I don't know, I feel like indifferent about, I guess, is it's set to the backdrop of the Trump versus Hillary election. And so there's a lot about like Trump and opinions on that, which is, I think it's really important to talk about that stuff in books, but it doesn't mean that I always want to read about how shitty real life is. Like, I like books as an escape, so those parts I'm like, oh, what a bummer reminder that this is like our real lives. Anyways, so far it is a very chill read. Like, it's literally just reading about this family and their lives intertwined in this family business of theirs, and I like it. I like the characters, I like the family, I want to be part of them, I want to eat dinner with them. So I am going to try to finish this one today. Also, matchy matchy. Okay, actually I'm back because I wanted to add a few things and I need some tea. One of the siblings just became a server at the family restaurant, and just, if you've ever worked at a restaurant, you know it is such a unique experience. I was a waitress for 3 or 4 years, but the way that you are with your staff is just so unlike any other job. Anyway, when they're talking about working in this restaurant and like the after work rituals with the staff and everything, it is just so relatable. Obviously not at this point in my life, but I just think back about those times and it's just like crazy. And having like server nightmares, I still get those to this day, where I wake up and I'm like, I freaking forgot to give them their ranch. I'm actually really enjoying this book, and at first I was like, nah, it's all right. I really love the Sullivans. I feel for a lot of their experiences, and yeah, I guess with the backdrop of the political backdrop, I guess it's very interesting to see how it affects everyone's individual lives so much. Anywho, back to reading. This book made me cry. It was really cute, and I know it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea because of the political commentary, but this family, there's just so many like raw, real emotions in this book, and I don't know, I love I love a tight-knit family. I actually really ended up enjoying this book, and like overall the books that I have blindly read this week were pretty enjoyable. So I'm excited to see what my next like little surprise read is, so stay tuned. I'm going to start this as like a series until I finish getting through all of the books that I wrapped up, so there will be a part 2. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you again soon. Bye.